Hey everyone, it's the Road Biker. Today I'm going to be replacing my brake pads. And I've broken out my toolkit, which has all my tools for working on my bike, and this set of brake pads that I recently bought online. Got good reviews of them. So the reason I'm replacing my brake pads is that they are squeaking and squealing and scraping and they sound terrible. And to remove them, the first thing you need to do is open up your calipers to give yourself some space so that you can get the old pads out and the new pads in. On my particular bike, I've got a little lever here on the calipers that I can swing open, and that opens up the tension on the calipers and gives me more room to work. Calipers, once they're opened up, can't be any easier to change your brakes. Nothing more than breaking the brake pads loose from the calipers, loosening them up, taking off the nut and bolt, whatever you have that holds them together, and just sliding the old brake pad out of the way. Now when you're doing this, you may run into an issue where you don't have enough room to get the brake pads off, or possibly getting the new brake pads on. I elected to only open up the calipers to get these pads off, but you can also take your front tire off, or you can disconnect the cable from the calipers and just plain open it up completely for yourself. Now here you can see the reason I'm replacing these pads. There's a lot of metal buildup inside the pads, and I've talked to some other people that I know, and they said, yeah, they've seen the same sort of thing on their bikes. My bike's an entry-level bike, and I know another guy who had the same issue, and he said to me, yeah, those are pretty crappy pads, and replacing them is not a bad idea. So this is the new pads. And the things that you need to keep in mind is that there's a washer on the inboard side of the brake pad that's conical shaped. And what that does, it allows you or helps you orient the pad and square it up to the rim. And also there's an orientation what direction the pad should go in. And generally speaking, these pads will be marked for you like these are. So as you can see, I did break down and pop my front wheel off to give myself plenty of access to the calipers to rehang the new brake pads. And it's nothing more than installing one on one side and one on the other side, and making sure that you have them oriented correctly. And in this case here, I'm just kind of snugging them up in place just to get them hung in place before I put the wheel back on. Easy peasy. This is a job anybody can do. And if you noticed, I only am working with two tools, a hex wrench and an open end wrench. Now once I've got these guys roughly in place and hanging up on the calipers, I put my wheel back in, tighten the calipers back down to the braking position. And now what I do is you essentially square up the brake pads to the rim. Loosen up your adjustment screw, and by eye determine where you want to tighten the brake pads in place. They should run up against the rim, not the tire obviously, and they should be flush with the rim, parallel to the rim, I guess is a better way of putting it. So right and left side, you do the same thing, and obviously you can do this with the back side too when you're done with your fronts. And the other thing you need to do is make sure that the calipers are back centered up on the wheel. You can do that by sliding it around a little bit if you want, if need be. And then you check and see, make sure that the wheel is running in the center and between both calipers, and the brake pads are equidistant to the sides of the rim. And give it a spin, make sure it runs cleanly and that the brakes work correctly. This is where you make your adjustment to make sure your braking is where you want it to be. And it looks good to me, so I'm all done. Nice job. So this is the front brakes all installed, pretty looking, and the back brakes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will subscribe to this channel. Subscribe by clicking that subscribe box you see just right there. And as always, your comments are welcome, so please feel free to post them. This is the Road Biker. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.